about the defensive side of the football right now. Let's talk about a rookie that is making a name for himself now that the pads have come on, and he is making a name for himself with one word. Chris, would you have any idea what that word would be if it's a Dan Campbell football team? What factor does he have? Do you know?
Grit.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit of grit. All right. Mekhi Wingo is showing off that he has grit. All right. Let me pause this commercial over on the side. Nobody needs to see that. All right. He has this grit factor. We knew that he might have it coming out of LSU. We knew that he might have it, but he is showing to be even more intense than I think we all thought. So let's just give a little background on who this guy is. He got number 18 at LSU, which is a special number. All right. We're in Michigan land over here, right? And Michigan State. I understand that. I'm just not going to talk about Michigan State. Number 18 for LSU is kind of like number 98 for Michigan or number 1. I mean, it holds a number 2, right? It holds something special, and you don't just give it to anyone. You give it to the leader, to a captain. Did you know that Mekhi Wingo was the only player in LSU history to wear number 18 that transferred into the program?
Didn't know that.
That's how quickly he became a leader on this team, which I think is really, really cool. And he got hurt in the middle of the season and worked his butt off to get back for a team's bowl game that doesn't matter. Knowing that he was going into the NFL draft, didn't care. All right. And here's what he said. It was really simple. All right. He said, I felt like I owed it to myself and to my team. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about a guy that is going to put his body on the line for his college team? Imagine what he'll do for his pro team when he's being paid.
Yep. And that's interesting what you said, because I love guys that just want to be out there. Like they just want to. And so you nailed it. This guy, I mean, his freshman year, and that's what I look at with these guys, just because like I want to see, are you the man right out of the gates? And so his freshman year at Missouri, he played in 11 games. He had 27 tackles, a sack, he had a pick and returned it for a touchdown. So he's athletic. He's got stuff. I mean, he's undersized. And I don't know. I'm fascinated with the undersized D lineman, because I think we all want to talk about Aaron Donald, even though Aaron Donald like wasn't undersized. I mean, I get he was, but he was just like, he was different. So, right, you're like, man, did we just find the next Aaron Donald? Obviously we didn't. But at the same time, what do we have here? What if we have that explosive D lineman that could do something? So to hear that he's got good things out of camp, it's like, that's what we're talking about. And the pads are coming on. We've been talking about depth. We need that depth at D line so bad, just because it's just that important. And it's great to hear that he's doing things.
Yeah, he's doing things. And you talk about what is his athleticism like, right? And his explosion, his quickness is pretty remarkable, right? It's pretty remarkable. When you talk about bench press, I'd like to see a little bit more out of the bench from a short-armed guy like him. I really would like to see more out of the bench. But there are a lot of things that he does that are really, really well. And he absolutely does have the athletic ability to compete at an NFL level. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm obsessed with RAS, right? I don't view it as this is what's going to happen. I just view it as, do you have the athleticism to at least compete at the NFL level?
That's
right. Is the floor there, right? And then you can figure out with the way in which you play, you can figure out with your personality and how hard you're willing to put in work, whether or not that athleticism is going to take you to the next level.
Yeah.
It's great. And here's the good news about Wingo. He's playing next to Alim McNeill. And by the way, can we just take a second to talk about Alim McNeill? Like, have you heard one bad thing about this man coming out of training camp?
No.
All I'm hearing is that whoever's playing next to him is having great practices simply because Alim McNeill is creating so much havoc in the interior that the other defensive tackles left with one-on-one opportunities, and they're all taking advantage of them. Whether it's Levon Uzurike, whether it's Mekhi Wingo, it doesn't matter. Like, they're all taking advantage of it. Even Agude, like all these guys that it's like, no, they don't have a chance to make the roster. They're dominating because McNeill's so good. And Wingo talked about how McNeill is teaching him how to take on double teams and how to work different techniques and watching him how to do it with shorter arms and being a shorter player, because McNeill's not a really tall guy either.
Right. Yeah.
It's a decent
Man,
person to learn from.
Alim is going to be. He's another one. I was just talking about it. Like, you look at these guys going from first year to second year to third year, and to see those jumps. And I think that's what has me most excited. It's not necessarily the new guys that we have. It's these really good players that we already have that are taking these next jump in their progression. And so to see Alim McNeill dominating, it's crazy. And I'm surprised. I'm a little surprised just because I thought he played well last year. And I thought, man, if he can just be that again, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, even Ben Johnson was asked about the running game. He's like, hey, what do you think about the running game so far? And he said that what I think is that our defense is really good. And I'm like, what?
What?
And he said that for the first time in the 4 years he's been here, 3-4 years, that the defense is getting stops behind the line, really disruptive. And it's like, yeah, and our run defense was good last year. So it kind of makes me think, man, our run defense is going to be really good. We don't have to have so many resources up to stop the run, because I know we always want to do that. We can protect the pass now. So Alim McNeill makes a lot of things go for us, and it's going to be huge.
And with how good he played last year, our run defense was phenomenal last year. I think a lot of times we had to commit an extra player, but we really did commit well to stopping the run. And what if we can just be multiple out of a base set? How cool would that be? Like, you don't know where the blitz is coming from. You don't know what it's going to look like, because we look like we're in a base package all the time because we have players who can actually play their position at a high level.
Yeah.
Like, how nice would that be? And Alim McNeill, the only thing I worry about is that he's going to play so good that he's going to price himself out of a contract extension. Like, that's why we need to go get him signed right now. I don't know if you heard, Brad Holmes actually went out and talked about that. Brad Holmes went out and said, after they signed Taylor Decker to a 3-year, $60 million contract, he flat out said Alim McNeill's next. Like, we got to take care of Alim next. And it's just like, who actually says that out loud?
Right.
Like, nobody is that honest. And that's what I absolutely love about this team. I talked about it in a video earlier. They went and actually told Graham Glasgow that there was a good possibility he'd be moved to left guard before they re-signed him. How easy would it be to re-sign him at a discount rate and then be like, oh, by the way, you're moving to left guard? That's what most NFL teams do.
Yeah.
But they told him they take care of Decker. And by the way, with Decker, I think it's only like 36 of the 60 million guaranteed. That is not going to hamstring us, that contract.
No.
And
same
so we
thing
just,
same thing with Decker. That Decker's like, what are we doing? He went to the coach and said, are you going to resign me or what? What's going on? I just would like to know. Like, and I get that. And Dan Campbell's like, well, we're just, you've had surgery, so we're making sure you can move around. And like, so honest with them. And Dan Campbell even said, like, I can't reveal everything, which I get that. But also, man, what's so cool, and I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you're going to tell me, and this is what I believe, when a team's really humming, you got to have the talent, but when the team is playing hard for and like with the coach, it's not, the coach is telling you what to do and it's like, all right, let's go win, guys. It's like, no, we want to win for that guy because he's helped me, and vice versa. It's like, man, that's pretty cool. So
so
awesome.
you've asked this question. This is good. And I love exactly what you're saying. You nailed it. Like, this is just, most teams don't do this. And it's just so good to see this organization that has so consistently done wrong after we make the playoffs and we just blow up the team. And Barry Sanders in 98's like, forget this, I'm done. Right? Like, that's what this organization's been. Kelvin Johnson's like, I'm done, I'm walking away. We're unwilling to keep the guys we need to. And now we have a completely different mindset. But in this video, we're still talking about the defensive line, Chris. So, and we've been talking about like, hey, who do you want to see in preseason? Like, are you excited about watching preseason? So as I show you this with all of our defensive linemen, give me one or two defensive linemen that you're most looking forward to seeing in the preseason this year, and throw it in the comments as well.
Yep. I think Levi is one that we've heard a lot of good things about. Guy that Brad Holmes drafted early on.
Before Alim.
Yes. Second round pick in 2021 that we're like, all right, let's do this. I guess he's been what we thought he would be. And then I think the other one, James Houston, James Houston just wasn't in the right spots when he was supposed to be. I think that's what I'm picking up on. And again, he was injured basically all last year, so it's hard. But
It's tough.
let's see if he's back. Let's see. Well, how about you?
Let's see. Yeah. So this is great. I actually have 3 totally different people.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to seeing Matthew Betts, like the CFL player. Can he actually hang at an NFL level? Like,
Mhm.
is it just one of those things where it's like, yeah, you're playing lesser competition, you're actually not that good? Or is it, no, this guy can win against anybody, and who knows, maybe he could be a force to be reckoned with in the future. I'm really looking forward to see him. I'm looking forward to see Wingo. When we drafted him, it felt like a no-brainer, kind of like Christian Mahogany. I was like, this guy's going to have a role on this team. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do. At minimum, be a specialist. Like, he could set the edge if he plays D end. He can rush the passer from the inside. If he's playing next to Alim McNeill and McNeill's getting double teamed, he can more than hold his own water against a single team. Like, let's go. So I'm excited to see that. And then Josh Paschal. I don't know if Paschal will actually play much, but I'm excited to see what he does. It's time to take the next step. Last year was supposed to be the next step. It didn't quite happen. Now this year, it really, really should happen. It really should.
Oh no, I love that, and I agree, and I'm really excited about that. Can we switch gears?